Howdy everyone, Tricia here, and I have got a fall craft to do for you. This is a cornucopia. It's like a horn-shaped basket, and this is going to be filled with some lovely fall vegetables. Now these obviously aren't real. They are styrofoam, and I got these at the craft store. There's many to choose from little pumpkins like this one to gourds shaped like this here. And I've had these a while now, and I decided that I would get a new bag, so I went and purchased these at the craft store. You can go to Hobby Lobby, you can go to Michael's, even Walmart has some of these items. And this is what I purchased today, but only because I like the different colors, and not only because I'm going to use a few of these for my cornucopia, but then I'm going to lay some of these in some other areas of my kitchen and my house and so forth. Maybe next to a candle or just on a little shelf. So that's why I wanted extra, because my husband wanted a cornucopia on the table, so I'm going to make that for him. The one thing that I don't like about cornucopias, because I do think they're beautiful, but these baskets aren't very stable. They tip over very easily, and I'm kind of not liking that about them, but I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to see if I can somehow manage to do that. It's just that I have kitties, and they like to get all over the place, and they'll knock it over. So anyway, what I'll need to create my arrangement, as you can see, this is hollow, and I don't just want to just stick things in there and have them fall out. I want it to be a proper arrangement. So I'm going to move all this out of the way so I can tell you the supplies that I will need to put all of this together. First of all, I need some styrofoam, and you can buy any style of styrofoam that you want. I like this foamy type of foam. It's called dry floral foam. It's what it's called. And this comes in a package of 6. Sometimes it's just a package of 1 or 2 or 3. But I like to purchase a 6 because I do use them a lot. See how easy it was to knock that over? So anyway, you will need some styrofoam, and I'm only going to use one of these little bricks in here. And besides that, obviously I will need my hot glue gun, which is already hot and ready and dripping here. And I will need glue sticks that are appropriately sized for my glue gun. I'm using little mini sticks because I'm using a mini glue gun. I will probably, and maybe not, but I will need some scissors, so just have those ready. I will need a craft knife, a nice sharp craft knife. This I got it at the Dollar Tree, and it has been lasting quite a few years. This is so that I can cut my styrofoam if I have to cut it into little angled edges in order to get it to fit in there. I don't think I will probably need that because it's pretty deep. So, and the styrofoam is not that wide. But if it was a big block, then I would definitely need it. But I just want to let you know that a craft knife is something that you will probably use in some other arrangement, but we may use it this time. Here's some wire cutters. I will need this because I will be using some wire. And the wire that I'm using is this floral wire right here. This is a 22 gauge floral wire. It's just a green wire. It's a little thin wire like so. And you can use 22, 24, even a 26. The higher the number, the thinner or you can use a 20. The thinner the wire. So it's just basically really what you're comfortable using and what you're going to use it on. I'm comfortable with this 22. It feels sturdy enough to me, and it's thin enough. Just be careful when you're using these, because these little ends here will poke you, and it hurts, and there will be blood. A lot of blood, depending on how sangrona you are. That's what my mom would say. Okay, so we got some wire here, and I've got some floral greenery tape. You may not need this. I may not use it, but this is another item that is very handy when making floral arrangements. So you might want to have some of that. Am I going to get this into the styrofoam? Well, I could actually just hot glue them onto. I'll hot glue them onto my basket. But to make it all neater, I'm going to be using floral picks or floral sticks. Now, floral picks usually come with a little pointy edge like so. And then they'll have a wire on this end over here. This is a used one. I don't have any more. I've run out of these. I love using these. I really recommend that you get these if you're going to be doing any type of floral arranging. But anyway, I didn't have those, but I did have these floral sticks, and they're just like little wooden dowels, and they're nice and thin. And I can cut these to size. These do have a little angled bit at the end. I don't know if you can see that little angled bit there to insert, but you really don't need to have that. It could be any wooden dowel stick that you have. These I'll cut into size depending on how long I need them to be, or if I happen to have, or you happen to have, any little plastic tubings like these hard straw. These are for little balloons actually, but I happen to have a lot of these left over from a quinceañera, and these can actually be recycled or repurposed actually for this particular use, but because I do have wooden ones, I'm going to use the wooden ones instead of the plastic. But they're all also very easy to snip with these wire cutters if you have some nice heavy duty ones, or maybe a little saw, but you don't need that. I'm going to show you how easily I'm going to use this one, how easily you can cut this out. What I do is I usually put it under my arm and I hold it like this because I don't want pieces flying everywhere. So I want to hold a little tip, and then I just snip whatever size of stick I want. That's just to show you how easy it was to do that. My hand's not very strong. I have a little tiny bit of arthritis in it, but as you saw that I was able to just snip that off. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see what else. Oh yes, I'm going to use some, I got these little berry sticks. I got these at Hobby Lobby. Look at that. They already picked up some dust from who knows where. Anyway, I got these little berry sticks. I thought they were really pretty, and they were on sale, so I got these. They cost me like $1 or so a piece. And I got some, and I'm going to use some of these in my arrangement somewhere. I also happen to have these little leaves, little greenery fall leaves. I have a little bit of glitter on them. These I got them at the Dollar Tree, so they were only $1 each, so they're not very expensive. And I'm going to use a little bit of this also, and I'm only going to use it because I might want to hide some of the styrofoam that I have in there. You could also put some moss in there, some green or dry moss in there. Okay, let's get started. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I just wanted to arrange some things around here on the table. Now, I wanted to say that if you would like me to do a video on floral arrangement, on basic floral arrangement, leave a comment below, and if you'd like to see that. I'm sure there's plenty of videos that you can watch, tutorials on YouTube that you can find, but if you enjoy me doing these videos and you'd like me to do them for you, I would be glad to. I can do like a 3 series, so I can show you different shapes of floral arrangements. I did used to teach floral arrangement, so if you're interested, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I've got my styrofoam ready here, and I've gotten 2 pieces actually, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them together so I can make one nice big cube that's going to fit nice and tight in there. And then I'm just going to trim it with my knife to the little edges. So I'm just going to put lots of glue on my styrofoam. You probably want to use a large glue gun with a big thick glue sticks or something like this, where you're going to use a lot of glue. I just happen to love this little mini glue gun. It's a little precision point on it, and I love it. But really, this is better for a little detailed work. Okay, put that other styrofoam on top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once it's nice and stuck together, I'm going to want to push that in there. But in order to do that, I need to trim the bottom part of the little angles. I'll show you. Like so. Can you see that? I'm going to do a little bit at a time because I don't want to cut too much, and then my styrofoam ends up being too small and loose in there. Be careful with your fingers when you're cutting. I'm actually trying to do this so that you can see the camera angle. See? And that's so that I can slide it in there, and if it's still not sliding in far in enough, I will trim. Somewhere I'm going to put this like that so I can see it better. shaping it like a cone, if you will. I could have already bought a styrofoam that was shaped like a cone, but they're a little more expensive. And getting them like this saves me some money, and I don't mind doing this part. It is just a little messy, but I don't mind it. See, it's now fitting in much better, and it's going in really well now. See, now I can just push it in, and this will be nice and tight in there. I don't want it sticking out like that, so here's where my knife comes in handy, and you will now trim. Let me turn it so that I can do this safely by myself. This one piece off. Go. That's what I want. I want a nice big piece of styrofoam in there. And I could take these little pieces and kind of like tuck them in here. Now my idea was that I was going to take just one of the bricks and just use that instead of using two. And I'm going to tell you what I was going to do. I was going to take some wire that was long enough to go around the brick circumference, and also long enough that I could twist it and then go through this basket. So what I was going to do is I was going to snip off a piece. This is about 20 inches or so, a little bit less. And then what I was going to do is I was going to thread the wire through the bottom in here, pull it through the basket so that then these ends would be sticking out on the inside. And then I could put the styrofoam in there and take the wire and wrap around the styrofoam and secure it like that. And that's worked really well when I'm doing styrofoam in baskets that I don't want to pour hot glue on, because maybe later I want to remove the styrofoam or whatever arrangement I made in the basket, and I don't want to ruin it with hot glue. And sometimes the hot glue does seep through. So this is a way that you can get styrofoam stabilized in a basket, is by using some wire. And you know what, that's something that can go into a tutorial, and then you could actually see it happening. But as you saw, this fit in nice and tight, so I really don't need to wire it down. Now I could also go in there on the little edges and just dab some glue into there like so. Get that in there. Okay, put some more glue on my glue stick. Okay, then I could just put some hot glue into the corners, like way in there where it's touching. Same here, same on the tops here. And that's another way of stabilizing. But this is nice and tight in there, and it's nice and flat. And I'm going to trim just a little bit off the top here. Just a little bit. I don't know why, but I feel like I have to, so I'm doing that. Okay, I've trimmed it to my satisfaction. And I'll tell you something, cutting into the styrofoam with this little knife, there's something very, it doesn't sound all that fun, but there's something very satisfying about it, especially if your knife is sharp. It just feels kind of nice going through. I don't know what that means, but I like it. Okay, we'll put that out of the way, and we can get our wire cutters out of the way because we didn't need them at this very moment. So now I'm going to decide where I want the placement of my first pumpkin, and or squash, or whatever you want to call these. I want to use this one. I thought it was really pretty. In my bag, there's another one that I want to use. I don't have to use them all. Remember, I said I'm going to use these throughout my house. So you obviously don't want to use all of them. But I like this one too, because it's different. Here's a pretty one, a little brown one here. It's nice. Then it had this little green one in here as well. This was a package. It was $10, but it was also 40% off, so I got it for $6. And I thought that was pretty good, because these other ones that I have over here, I have bought them separately, and sometimes it's been like $3 for one of them. So getting these pieces here for $6 altogether was a good deal to me. I don't know what this one is. It's like a little different kind of squash, but I don't like the plasticky look of it, and I don't like the paint job on it. So I'm not going to use that one. I could repaint it maybe and make it look a little more realistic. I'm just going to skip that one for now. I don't know, maybe once the arrangement is made, it'll look good in there. But like I said, I'm not going to use very many. I should have gotten a corn. That would have been good. Anyway, I'm going to use this one for sure. And I believe I liked this one because I want to add some green. Might use that one. I am liking these long type of gourd looking ones. This is one that I've used before. It's got the hole because that's where the stick was in, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to get sticks into these so that I can insert them into my arrangement. Now the second step here would be to get some moss and cover this up. Some green moss. It looks like grass. Some of it is kind of brown, some of it is really green. That's your choice. I thought I had some moss right here ready for me to grab, but I don't. So I don't know where my moss is, and you know what? I'm just going to skip that part for now, or should I not? Should I not be lazy and just find some? I should not be lazy. I'll be back. Okay, well, guess what? I don't have any moss. I do have a really pretty green moss. It was kind of expensive, and I was using them for fairy gardens, so I don't want to use it on this because I needed to show in my fairy garden. And on here, I'm probably going to cover it up with, I could use some raffia that I can also tuck in there. And also, like I said, I also have these greenery bushes with the leaves that I'm going to use to also cover some of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this without the moss because I don't have the regular inexpensive brown moss or green moss. I just have the expensive nice. Anyway, moving on. Here's my first pumpkin, and I'd like to use that. Normally a cornucopia is something that's just like falling out. You've got stuff just kind of dripping out of your cornucopia, and then you'll have some of these little pumpkins and corn and things like that kind of on the table as well. And I could do that, and I won't have to even stick them in there. I can just put them on the table on my nice little display that I've created on my dining table. So I'm just going to put this one right here, and I'm going to insert it right into this pot, and I'm going to insert it from this pot. Now I could just hot glue it and stick it on and hold it for a bit, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do, and I have a stick that I was already cutting from, but I don't know which one it is, so I'll just get another one. Okay, so I'm liking this little knobby little handle, kind of maybe pointing inward a little bit. I feel it's kind of awkward pointing out, so I'm going to just see which side I like best, and I kind of like this side sticking in there first. So I'm going to make a hole right here with my hot glue gun. Basically, I'm melting it in there and just push in like that, and then push in some glue, and then you will push in your stick into that hole. Push it deeper than what you actually created, like so. And then if you like, you can add a little bit more glue around that, like so. And then let that dry. Once you've decided that that's what you're going to use, I told you that I was also going to use this one. And I don't want to waste this stick because I am going to cut it. And I need about so much to stick in, which is about 4 inches. So I'm going to cut it at about 4.5 or so, just because I'm going a little bit extra. All right. Let's set that one aside. Make sure that it dries up. I got a lot of little webs here being created by the glue. Twirl it. There we go. Cut it off. All right. Okay, so this already has a hole in it where I had stuck it in before. I do have another one, but I'm going to go ahead and recycle this one. I want this one kind of right here. So I'm going to use the same hole. Now the hole's it's been used quite a bit, so I'm going to put lots of glue, first of all over the little cracky bits that it has, so I can make sure that it doesn't crack anymore. Put lots of glue in there, only because there was already a hole. Otherwise, I wouldn't put that much. And then I get a new stick and insert it in there. And make sure I push the glue in where the stick kind of moved it. Put some glue in there. There. Okay, now this one's going to need a little more time drying. So I'm just going to set them down so you can dry. See the sticks moving there? Let's hold it a little bit. If this was a new brand, fresh, not a fresh, like real, but not already used, of course I wouldn't have that big hole, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hold. It's okay if it's at a little angle. We just push it down in an angle. Hold it. Blow on it a little bit. Hope it dry. Glue usually doesn't take this long. From the hot glue gun, doesn't usually take this long to dry, but because it's pretty deep into the little hole, it's taking a little longer. I'm going to trim off the stick now that I'm here, because I also don't need it to be that long. I may even end up trimming these even more. That's kind of holding. Alright, let's do that. Okay, I have this smaller one. Maybe, well, I had this one here. This one right here. So I'm going to make a little hole in the back here. There we go. Not too deep. Just far enough to break into the outer bit of it. I still have some of the stick left over, so I'm going to go ahead and use that one. And now I can go ahead and push in a little deeper with the actual stick. Put a little more glue there on the, let that dry. And then I've got this little one here. Make a hole in it. Put a little bit of glue in there. I had this little stick, and I think that's long enough to go in there, so I'm just going to use that little piece. Put glue in there, and I actually only ended up using one of these little dowels to do for these little veggies, and to prep these little veggies with a stick. So that's pretty good. Now you know you don't need that many. Okay, so let's push that out of the way. This big one's already dry, and I want this one right here. Now I made the stick really long. Like I said, I'm probably going to end up cutting it, and I probably am. So let's go ahead and do that. I like the idea of these short little sticks. Okay, so that's enough. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it. And I wanted it on the edge here, like that. This is where the stabilizing of the cornucopia is going to get tricky because of the weight that I just added. See how it does that? I don't like that. I will figure this out. Okay, let's get this going. Here's the other one. Let's go ahead and let it lay down a little bit. Trim a little bit. Got my finger in the glue over here. Fantastic. I wanted this one right around here. And now I see that I could have cut my styrofoam a little bit more. And you know what? I am going to cut my styrofoam a little bit more. So let's get that little knife. Because I want my vegetable to go in further. I don't want them sticking out so far out. Maybe I'll just have to trim the stick too. Ooh. That is why I hold on to it. Okay, let's get some glue on there. There we go. Now it's up against the edge here. It's not floating outward like it was before because the styrofoam was coming out. So then this little vegetable was like out here rather than in there. So now he's in there. And this next one, I wanted him right here. And I don't want the same thing happening, so I'm going to trim off some of the styrofoam. So, it has to tip over because it's heavy. Okay, I'm going to trim off some of this also. Again, if I had just gone with a shorter, I wouldn't have all these little bits, because then I'd have a nice long stick that I could use for another purpose, but well, there we go. Like I said, we only used one stick, so little bits getting tossed won't hurt. And I believe I said I wanted this one, the side here. And I pushed in as much as I could. It's still not stabilizing. It's because of the weight of this one, bringing it, I think, too far forward. I don't know. But I've never liked that about cornucopias. You know what I'm going to do is I might put this on a little piece of styrofoam, like hot glue it to a piece of styrofoam so it stays flat. And then Or what I could do is just twist these a little bit and then lay my cornucopia on its side, which I'm not liking. What do you think? Am I going to have to go with laying my cornucopia on its side? I kind of like that idea because you know what? The stuff that comes flying out of it. I'm going to do that. There's got to be a solution. I'm glad I'm doing this is happening and you're watching it because, you know, things can be redone. Okay, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put it down here instead. I do want it to go a little bit further in now than I'm here. So I'm going to trim off some of this. Making a big old mess. Put glue on it. Put that down here. Okay. I like this one on this side. And you know what's going to happen? My husband's going to look at it and go, well, this is not the cornucopia the way that I thought it was going to be. But because I'm sure he's imagining it resting on these little feetsies that it has back here. But you know what? I'm going to remove them. They won't exist anymore. Okay, here's a little bit of stick, the one that went flying. It was right in there. That's funny. And it even looks like it poked at some. Okay. And see, this is why you want to put moss in there, because it'll cover the little spots that you can see of styrofoam. But we're going to cover it with leaves. Okay, let's put another vegetable in there. That looks so pretty. If I had some corn, I'd have it coming out of here, and I don't. But you know what? I do have another one of these. So I'm going to trim. This one already had some stick, and it has I put two sticks together because it was an actual floral arrangement, and it was sticking out. But now I need it to go in here, and I do need the stick to be long because the styrofoam's way in there. I want to make sure this doesn't come off. Get some more glue and my glue gun. Right, that's not in it. There we go. Get some glue on the tip here where it's gonna. There we go. Let's get some of this styrofoam brushed off of there. Glue bits. It's always way better to wait till these little webbings of glue. Just let the glue dry and then go in there and pull them out. Because if you try to pull them out while the glue is still wet, they're just going to stretch even longer and then get stuck somewhere else and it just becomes a headache. Same with the styrofoam. It's just everywhere. That's okay. I have lots of little pieces like this over here now. Okay, this is all I'm going to use except for this other small one. Or maybe I'm going to use yet another. I feel like I can insert that one there and then this one a little bit higher, but I want some leaves right there. And I have a little bit of ribbon, which I can make a little bow, and I think I'm going to put that in there too. Okay, I'm going to insert this guy right here. I really wanted this little thing to show, but oh well. We're just going to put it like that. Okay, so here's what this cornucopia is looking like. Let me lift it up. Okay, this is what it's looking like, and because it's now going to be laying on its side rather than I don't need these little crazy little feetsies, so I'm going to trim them off. Oh, that was easier than not as easy as I thought. Let's go ahead and these little bits are gone. Oops, I'll make a hole. Over here now is another. Let's try these craft scissors. They're thinner and they can get in there. There we go. And the other little footsie Now I have this. I don't know where that got scraped there, but I'm not going to worry about it. Look at that. That looks so much better now, laying on its side. And now I'm going to add some greenery. Look at these little cute little, these are actually kind of cute. Maybe they will look cute inserted in there somehow. We'll see. Let's put them over to the side. Okay, now we want to put some greenery. I'm going to use these guys here. And I'm just going to separate these little bits here. Push the leaves up as high as I can. And now I'm going to trim. And I'm going to trim them as long as I can for now. Because I don't know how long I'm going to need them. So what I end up doing when I buy a bush that I know that I'm going to use the stems from it is I go ahead and I start cutting off all the stems at the longest point off the joining part and just throw that away. And I've got another one here and I feel like I'm going to use both of them. So I'm just going to push the leaves up as much as I can and trim these off at the lowest point that I can. Okay, so now I've got all these little bits and I want some coming out from the bottom right here. Let me see how long that has to be, and that only sticks out a little bit, but that's probably going to be the amount that's going to stick into the styrofoam, so I'm not going to cut this one. I'm going to put a little glue on the end here, and I want to stick it from underneath here and push it in just to the point where the leaves are kind of tucked into the little vegetables here. See, so I'm just pushing them in far enough where they're tucked in, and then the leaves are just underneath like that when I put them on the table. See? Okay, let me add a little bit more. I'm going to turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. And that little piece of styrofoam that I stuck on the bottom came in real handy because that's a perfect place to stick this. Turn it around. Stick it right here. See? And you don't really see the stick, you just see the leaves coming out of the basket here. And that's basically what I do. I need to get some better lighting in here. I have to work on that situation. Okay. I have a little bit of space right here that I don't want to see. Open space. And all I'm doing is really just twisting the little stick so that the leaves are kind of not, you know, facing down, so that they're kind of look nice. See, that's filling in. I've got another negative space here. I'm just going to call it a negative space. I'm going to turn this a little bit. I want this to go further in, even almost behind the pumpkin. Let's get that in there. And I'm going to stick these little leaves around behind this little bit that this had, only because I want to see them there. This one won't let me, so just a little bit. Stick that in here. So that covers up that styrofoam. If you look at it like this, you can see all this space here too. So I want to stick some branches in there. I'm not trimming them that much, just a little bit. Push that in as far as I can to cover that up. A couple more. Push it in as far as I can. Look at that, that's pretty. There we go. That's filling up. Now I've still got these bits here. You can see that. And you can see on the edges here that All the leaves are in there. There's a little bit here, but that leaf can just move over a little bit like that, and that covers that. Because I've only got 3 of these little sticks left, and I would like them to stick into here and not so far in. So I'm going to reach underneath this little pumpkin. There, I felt the styrofoam, and that's where I'm going to stop. I heard it being inserted into the styrofoam. There, stop right there. I'm not pushing these all the way in. These are sticking out some. And you'll see through the bottom. I'll show you. See this stick right here? This little part is not pushed all the way down into here. I'm letting this a little bit because when I put it on the table, I want these leaves to stick out. Maybe not this one so much. Just push it in a little bit. Okay. But these in the bottom, I wanted them to stick out and not be way down under here. So that it looks like, you know, it's spilled out a little bit and some of the leaves are on the table. And then if I wanted to, I could lay another one of these, like this green one, on the table next to it, like that. And I can make an arrangement. This would be a finished arrangement as far as what I wanted to create. I really wanted it standing like that, and I'm thinking my husband's going to say the same thing, but now I've removed the little legs, so there's no choice. We're going with this. Oh, and I do have these little berries. I'm going to go ahead and take one of these guys, and I'm going to use those also. These are easily taken apart also. See, just pull it off. What I do is I just bend the little bottom part here a little bit for some stability. And add some glue there. Berry sticking out there. Isn't that cute? Look at that. I don't know if you can see it from where you're at, but I'll move it so that you can. And then I'm going to take it to the table where I'm going to finally have it set so that you can look at it there in a better light. Over there. I can use as many or as little of these as I want. That looks so pretty. And another one over in this side. Right here. Now, if you don't want to be pulling them off, you could just trim them off with your wire cutters. But the reason I was doing that is because I wanted them to be as long as they possibly could, so they reach the styrofoam. That glue. Let me show you a little trick. What I do with my glue gun, if you see me twirling it. When I'm adding glue on here, anytime you're using a glue gun and you know when you pull it off, those of you have used a glue gun and you've had some experience with it, you pull it off, you always get these long stringy bits and it's like, oh. So what you do is if you twirl it around a little bit like that, it kind of breaks off whatever string is on the gun. Oh, that looks so pretty. That's looking really pretty with the little berries. See the little berries in there? It's looking really pretty. What I need is a light behind the camera. Okay. And I have one more, so what the heck? I'm going to use it because, you know, why am I not using that one a little bit? And as you know, as you saw, I bought 4 of these. I still have lots of these left for other arrangements around my house. And I want one on here in the bottom. And as we know, that styrofoam is kind of a ways in, so I'm going to leave those long like that. And I'm going to try to tuck that in there somewhere where I don't touch the leaves of the, there we go, with a little tip that had the glue on there because I don't want to get glue all over. And just kind of bend that. Okay, this is my finished arrangement. I'm going to go put this on a table so that you can see how pretty it actually looks. And so that you can see it under a better lighting situation. Now I did say I wanted to put a bow on it, and I have a bow here from when I had another arrangement. This one's really pretty. It's kind of a sheer fabric, and I like it because it's not gonna, you know, interfere too much with the other, the other items that are in my arrangement. So I have this little bow with this long little piece of ribbon here. It's got some little owls on it. It's really pretty. And I was thinking about using this in my arrangement, and I was thinking about putting it somewhere up on the top here and letting this, but you know what, I feel like that's just a little too much. So I'm going to leave it like that, and I'll show you how it looks on my table. All right, here we go. It's all on my table now. Here is my cornucopia on the table set up all nice and pretty. As you can see, I've got my little tablescape. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up below. Even if you didn't enjoy it, give me a thumbs up. Why not? Please subscribe to my channel and let me know if you'd like me to do some basic floral arrangement tutorials for you, show you how to do 3 different shapes. Just leave a comment below saying, yes, I want a floral tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any ideas and links, you can leave them also below. And as always, enjoy.